If you're implementing email marketing into your business or your website, then I have some tips that I've learned over the past 12 months that can hopefully improve the deliverability of these emails. Basically, making sure your emails land in people's inbox and not hitting that junk or spam folder. So, let's get into this. Hi and welcome back to the channel again. So today's video I'm going to give you some quick fire tips that will hopefully help you improve your email marketing campaign. Now, one of the biggest factors about email marketing is that obviously whenever you send an email out, it needs to reach the customer. Now that's not always as easy as it seems. When I first started building my email list, I thought you just simply collected a load of emails, fired out whatever you wanted, and people would read it, it would land in their inbox, they would open it, all good. It's not actually how it works, and I've learnt the hard way by spending quite a bit of money on my email marketing campaigns and my email marketing provider, and also just wasting a lot of time writing really good emails that nobody ever got to see because they were landing in the junk or spam folder. So there are lots of metrics and datas and things that you can do to actually improve your deliverability on these emails. So I thought I'd condense it down into 7 top tips that I have that I've learned over the past year or two and that hopefully will help you improve your email open rate. So number 1, headlines. Now we all know a catchy headline is great for click-through rate, right? We've all got those emails where you see the title and you just cannot resist clicking it and having a read. You may be suspicious that you might not like that content, but you can't help yourself, you just got to click that headline. Now that is all well and good, but you need to be aware that there are a lot of spam filters regarding headlines. So that might be built into your email provider, or it could be built into the platform that you're selling it, like Gmail or anything like that. So you need to be wary of these spam filters. Now these look for particular words in your headline, words like sale, coupon, discount, lifetime deal, them kind of words, and they regard them as spammy because they think you're just trying to sell somebody something, right? They don't think they are engaging, interesting words. So you need to create these catchy titles, but you need to make sure they're not coming across or being picked up and alerted to the spam filters. And number 2, images. Now there tends to be 2 camps when it comes to images. Some people love them and some people hate them. Many people just decide to go for a word written email just because of the fear of it landing in the spam box because you've added some images. Other people are really image heavy focused in their emails, and there are some pros and cons for both. So I think what you need to do is understand that, again, there is another filter within there that will look at the number of images versus the number of words, and it needs to see a fine balance. If it sees 90% images and 10% words, it's probably more likely that it's going to hit the spam box. Now, if you have, let's say, 500 words, but then you've only got 1 images or 1 video embedded, then that shouldn't be alerted to the spam box and you should be good to go. Now, like I say, a lot of people are split with this. It's kind of a personal opinion. Many people think that without images in their emails, they're not going to be engaging, people's not going to want to see them. But in certain niches and certain business industries, just information in written format can be interesting on its own. I'm subscribed to a couple and there's no images in them, and I love reading them. They're pretty much like a full article within an email, and they're the sort that I like. But I can understand why images seem tempting to put in your emails, but you just need to make sure that balance is right. And number 3, correct email address. So you need to make sure the email address that you use looks genuine, again, to these filters and these email providers and these spam bots, whatever they are. You need to make sure that your email address looks like an authoritative person and that it's real and it's genuine and it's not just from some fictitious company that's being made up. So to give you an example, my keyword care company has keywordcare@gmail.com. However, it would be much better to have Carl at keywordcare.com. Having that personal touch of Carl at the beginning of it, again, helps those filters spam through these email addresses and recognize that it's from a real, genuine person rather than a company that just might be randomly sending out these salesy type emails. So having one that's more personal actually helps improve that deliverability. Now, it's fine to have a company email address, so keyword care, that's absolutely fine. But then if I had 2 or 3 members of staff that actually worked for keyword care, I would make sure each one has a personalized email address. Hopefully the emails will pick up that it's a personal email address and it will send them to the inbox. And number 4, start small. Now, it's really tempting when you're building an email list to gather as many emails as you can, and then the first email you send, you fire it out to thousands of people. Hopefully, you've gathered thousands of email addresses, but that's not actually the way you want to do it. You want to really start off small and drip feed your emails out to your customers so that your service provider sees the deliverability is good and the open rate is good and the click-through rate's good. So I would start off by sending out, let's say you've got an email list of 1,000. Your first email you send out, I would literally send 10. And I would send those 10 to the people in that email list that you really know will like your emails, will guarantee they will open that email. Now, if you send 10 emails out and all 10 are opened, that's a really good signal to your email provider that your content is good and it's wanting to be read. Then step it up. So next week, you might step that up to 25 and then to 50 and then to 100. Now, hopefully you keep your content engaging and then headlines catchy but not spammy. And then as you send more and more emails out, hopefully you're hitting the right target audience. Then open rates are good, people are interacting and they're replying to your emails. And that way it sends these positive signals that your sender authority within emails is good. So that deliverability rate is good. Your sender authority is good. So basically you're seen as not being spammy. So start off small and work your way up. I know it's tempting. You might be able to fire out 1,000 emails, but trust me, it's not the way to go. Start off small with a very targeted audience and slowly build up. Eventually, you will be able to send your full entire email out and your emails will land in their inbox. And number 5, replies and calls to action. Now, one of the best ways to send positive signals is to get replies, responses, and clicks on calls to actions. That can be one of the best ways to get your email provider to trust you and make sure your deliverability is improving. So what I mean by that is try and get your emails to be engaging to your audience. You want them to react. You want them to reply to you. So I'll often say in the emails, I'll give them a lot of great information and helpful content, and then I'll say, has this ever happened to you? Let me know. Or how do you find this information? Is it going to be helpful? Try and get a response, because even if you send 1,000 emails out, if you can get 10 or 20 people to email you back and say, wow, Cal, that email you sent out was really interesting. I enjoyed it, and I've taken your advice on board and I'm doing that. You need them replies, and simply getting 10 email replies back can greatly increase your sender authority. So try and get your emails engaging and really give them a call to action. Tell them to do something. Tell them to reply. It's the best way you can improve your authority. And number 6, target the right audience. Now, with many email providers, I use ConvertKit, and I chose ConvertKit because they allow me to segregate my email subscribers. So every time I get a new email, it is dropped into a pot, a selected little folder that has a targeted audience. So I may have a folder that are people who just want to learn about keyword research. I may have a folder that is just full of email addresses for people who want to start a new website. So I have these buckets that I call them, or these folders, where when I send an email campaign out, I can send one that's really targeted to an audience. So for instance, there would be no point me sending an email out how to start a new website and sending it to a bucket list of people who have multiple websites or who are already successful website owners. They won't want to hear that information and they won't read it, or they'll mark it as junk, and that's the worst thing you can do. Anybody who marks your emails as spammy or junk is the worst metric you can get. So you need to make sure your emails are targeted to the right people. So make sure the email service provider that you choose allows you to target and segregate these email addresses into separate folders. And that way you'll have a much more targeted and successful email campaign. And finally, number 7, test different templates. So believe it or not, in your email campaigns, you can use different templates. You can have a basic Word email, you can have an image email, you can have a block form email. There are various templates you can use, and many email providers often give you these templates for free. So test different email templates, find which one works for your particular audience, and then when you find one that works, stick with it, because then consistency becomes a factor. And the more consistent you are with your audience, for instance, I know on a particular day I get an email from a certain company that I love to read, and I'm looking forward to seeing that email. I know how I'm going to get the email, I know how it's going to be presented to me, and I look forward to seeing it in that format. So when you find a template or a format that works for your audience, stick with it. So there you go, there's 7 ways to improve your email deliverability. It's all about building up your sender authority. So that's you, the person sending your emails. How authoritative are you? How trustworthy does your email provider see you as? How trustworthy does your reader see you as? And all these metrics add up to basically your sender authority. And the higher your sender authority, the more confident you can be that these emails you send are landing in their inboxes.